It didn't happen. This is something they have always wanted. The fact that it is happening is significant. You know, Selena, again, and you talk to a lot of supporters here, is there ever a sense of, do you imagine how much more could be happening here? If you think the tax cut's a great success and the jobs numbers are a great success and this type of meeting is a great success, how many more great successes could there be if not for all the other things?
Well, you have to remember that voters bought into his personality and his flaws when they went into the voting booth. So there was always a level of expectation of unpredictability. Now, maybe they wouldn't predict some of the tweets that he's done. Maybe they wouldn't have predicted some of the gaffy statements that he's made. But all in all, they understood that this was his personality, and they were okay with that because he was a commodity for them for 20 years before he ran for president. So they forgave or looked aside everything that he does that's unconventional and not sort of the same as any other president before him. If for them, he's had a great week. In fact, he's had a great year. He's fulfilled a lot of the promises that he made to his base. With evangelicals, they got Gorsuch. With Wall Street and sort of rotary Republicans types, they got tax reform. With the tariffs, the blue wall that went for Trump in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Michigan and Iowa, they feel as though he has their back. And with North Korea, that satisfies all of them and may be part of expanding his base or expanding voters considering him.
Yeah, you know, it's just fascinating to see all of those things, Amy, and yet, you know, Sam Nunberg is behind closed doors with a grand jury right now. And yet the CNN reporting is that the White House is increasingly concerned about the Stormy Daniels situation. This lawyer, Mike Avenatti, who was on CNN, we saw a clip from him before, he's serious.
Yeah.
He's serious about this, and he's thought this thing through, and he's fighting the fight not just legally, but politically as well. And this isn't over.
No, and they should be worried. I mean, and you hear Republicans even coming forward saying this is problematic. We're not talking about something that happened 5 or 10 years ago. This was something that happened in the days before the election. And so something is happening behind the scenes. And the fact that we're talking about it every day and something is happening from Rick Gates to Paul Manafort and now this is, it keeps the cloud over the White House and it makes it problematic for him to like push anything further, and the tariffs thing, everything else is the main objective for the White House is to drive their message, and they have problems doing that every single day with all of this looming over them.
You know, Matt Lewis, Stormy Daniels, we've talked about this since the sort of beginning. How serious would it be? Would it enter into the West Wing? It has now. I mean, it has entered into the West Wing. Sarah Sanders had to address it in a way that opened the door even further. The president's, Michael Cohen, the president's personal lawyer, conciliary for a decade, is now directly involved.
Absolutely. It's a big deal. Look, I don't think anybody cares about the sex part of it because, as Selena was saying, that's baked into the cake. People, before Donald Trump won election, we knew a lot about him, including the Access Hollywood tape. Nobody thought that you don't vote for Donald Trump because you want to restore honor and character to the White House, So we knew what that was going in. But the other stuff, the legal stuff, the cover-up, that could have much bigger implications here, in terms of the legal angle. And, look at Richard Nixon, He had won a huge re-election landslide. Right. He had opened up China. He had finally gotten out of Vietnam. And it's Watergate that brings him. It's the cover-up that brings him down.
Selena, 10 seconds or less, the president going to your neck of the woods tomorrow. What do you think the first thing out of his mouth is? Do you think it's North Korea? Do you think it's the jobs report? Or do you think it's tariffs?
Probably between jobs report and tariffs. Both of those are going to really play well with the people that are showing up to this rally in Western Pennsylvania.
Selena Zito, Matt Lewis, Amy Parnes, thanks so much for being with us today. I appreciate it. From trading insults to suddenly talking peace, or at least talking. President Trump now set to meet face-to-face with Kim Jong-un. Should he be sitting down with a dictator? I'm going to speak to a former U.S. Senator, former U.S. Ambassador to China, a man who's been in the middle of this issue for some time.
One of the most powerful men on earth holds a position that has existed for 2,000 years. As the world changes and faith evolves, his authority remains. And this is his path to power.
Natrol Melatonin, the #1 selling melatonin brand in America, is the 100% drug-free way to promote healthier, more restful sleep. Go ahead, own your health with Natrol.
This is a tomato you can track from farm to pot, to jar, to table, and serve with confidence that it's safe. This is a diamond you can follow from mine to finger, and trust it never fell into the wrong hands. This is a shipment transferred 200 times, transparently tracked from port to port. This is the IBM blockchain, built for smarter business, built to run on the IBM cloud.
VisionWorks can do more than just make you see great. The right pair of glasses can make you look amazing, too.
Right now at VisionWorks, when you buy a great pair of glasses, get a second pair free. A free pair you can use for sun, for fun, for work, for after work. VisionWorks, we're here to help you.
How did you talk me into this? This is crazy! Horns! Watch the horns! Okay.
What you don't see can hurt you. If you just monitor your credit, you can miss certain identity theft threats. LifeLock sees more, like your personal information on the dark web. And if there is a problem, we'll work to fix it with our $1 million protection package. LifeLock, starting at $9.99 a month.
Whether you go all white, all blue, or you
like to mix it up.
Now it's the Stock Up event at Men's Warehouse. All wrinkle-free dress shirts, sports shirts, select dress and casual pants are 3 for $99. Plus it's buy one, get one free on select items.
It's time to like the way you look.
It's time for the Sleep Number Spring Clearance event. The dual adjustability of the Sleep Number bed allows each of you to adjust to your ideal level of firmness, comfort, and support. Your Sleep Number setting for your best sleep ever. In the morning, you'll discover the amazing effects the bed is having on your sleep quality, your Sleep IQ score. And snoring? Does your bed do that? Only at a Sleep Number store where queen mattresses start at just $8.99. Last chance for clearance savings up to $600. Plus free home delivery on all Sleep Number 360 smart beds. Visit sleepnumber.com for a store near you.
From Indonesia, Vietnam, all through our hub in Singapore.
So as demand grows online,
our supply chain is ready.
Yeah, and vulnerable. You've got currency issues, tax exposure.
I agree. We run forecasts in each country and for a range of tax scenarios.
And how do you have the resources to do that?
We don't. That's why we brought in BDO.
BDO?
People who know BDO.
Being punctual means you're thoughtful about others, and that is important in business. It shows that you really care about your clients' needs. I need an airline that helps me do my job. The folks at Japan Airlines, they take so much pride in being punctual. Their flight network between America and Asia is totally easy and totally seamless. I've spent most of my life thinking about how to make things look better, work better, feel better. Most importantly, I want my work to be life-enhancing.
For you, it's always leap over look, now over later, and pause, not even in your vocabulary. So when a cold sore tingle strikes, you act on it. Only Abreva can heal a cold sore in as little as 2.5 days when used at the first sign. It starts to work immediately to block the virus and protect healthy cells. Nothing heals a cold sore faster. And because Abreva acts on it, you can too. Act on it with Abreva.
This morning, we're learning that the same South Korean official who brought Kim Jong-un's invitation for face-to-face talks with President Trump also asked that South Korea be given a waiver from the president's new tariffs on steel. South Korea is the third largest exporter of steel to the United States. Interesting how all of this connects. Let's talk more about this North Korean development. Joining me now, former Montana Senator, former ambassador to China, Max Baucus. Ambassador, thank you so much for being with us. You were ambassador to China. Obviously, the Korean issue very much part of what you were focused on during those years. This was during the Obama administration. Had this offer come, do you think, to the White House during the Obama administration, the way it did, with South Koreans walking in the door in the White House, making the offer, the president coming out minutes later saying, we'll take it, do you think the Obama administration would have taken that offer?
I think they would have considered it. They would see it at a great opportunity. They would have figured out a way to see if they can make it develop into a peace on the North Korean peninsula. We have to remember here that Kim Jong-un is very sly. He's very wily. He's dumb like a fox. He's been to this rodeo before. He wants, what does he want? He wants to be on the world stage with the U.S. president. He now has that. Second, I think he wants to keep his nuclear power, his missile and nuclear capability. He's not going to give that up. It gives him leverage. And he sees an opening how he can drive a wedge between South Korea and the United States. How? By working with progressive South Korean President Moon, who is much more progressive and wants to do a deal with North Korea compared with Moon's predecessor. And add to that, the Russians have a very interesting angle here. They're proposing a big pipeline, gas pipeline through North Korea into South Korea, something that Kim wants, South Korea wants. He's a very clever man, Kim Jong-un, and we have to realize that.
This is what he wants. This is what the North Korean regime has wanted for some time. The question is, have policies that this administration has carried out, have they pushed him to it in a different way? The White House says yes. Vice President Mike Pence just put out a statement, let me read it, that this move is evidence, he says, that President Trump's strategy to isolate the Kim regime is working. Is that true?
Well, it could be partially true, but I don't think it's nearly as true as the vice president says. We know that the sanctions have hurt North Korea, but so far the sanctions have not brought North Korea to the table. And I think Kim is coming to President Trump now because he studied Trump. He knows that Trump is susceptible to flattery. He knows that Trump will probably come and visit with him. That puts Kim on the world stage. It's really an opportunity that Kim sees more than is it, in my judgment, a pressure that the United States has put on him.
What does the United States need to get out of this now?
Well, clearly, we want peace on the peninsula. That's the ultimate goal. It's going to be very difficult. We have to work with our allies, not just South Korea, but Japan, and we have to work with China.